Good afternoon. This is Professor King, or Dr. King, rather. I am a little out of sorts today. Didn't get much sleep last night, but glad to see you here. Welcome. Today's presentation will be on mastering time management. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm starting my timer as I always do because I want to make sure I'm cognizant of everybody's time. So here we go. There we go. Type in that number. All right, mastering time management. Welcome from Dr. Bridget King. I've split, since I have to do this introduction every week, I'm kind of messing around with my introduction slides, so I've categorized it for you this week. Personally, I'm a 34-year resident of Duncanville, Texas, have lived in the 800 Link community for 18 years. I am a wife and a mother and a graduate of Duncanville High School. Educationally, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's degree in organizational management, and an education doctorate in sports management. I consider myself a servant leader. So, wow, I clicked the wrong thing. I consider myself a servant leader. So my servant leadership roles are 25 plus years working in industries, 12 years working in higher education, teaching business, management, leadership, human resources, social sciences, humanities, motivation, and professional development courses. I'm a 12-year grassroots girls basketball coach with the Lady Panthers Girls Basketball Association. And I have 12 years working as a parent volunteer for Duncanville ISD. I've served as president and vice president of PTA, and I've served in various roles for various sports leagues in the area. I've been on my apologies. You guys were muted. Well, I had muted myself. I'm sorry. Thanks, ma'am. Do me a favor and type your names in the chat box for attendance purposes for me. My presentation completely disconnected itself. Hi, Makia. So I need to go back and get the link. Give me just a second. I hadn't gotten far in my presentation, and it actually isn't really long today. So this isn't messing with anything, but I need to get you guys the link for the survey form. In about 5 minutes before the program ends, I need y'all to click on that form and it'll come up in your browser. That way you'll still have it after I end the survey, after I end the presentation. Then if you need anything, you know, just email me or text me or whatever and let me know. But that's the link to the form in the chat box. And so without further ado, let me get this presentation back started. We lost 5 minutes there. And as I said, I'm not sure exactly what's gonna happen because they've been having issues with the internet service today. And so let's see, let me start back. I'm start back from my introduction screen because I changed some things on there. Okay, there we go. Welcome. Well, let's start from the beginning. Guys, see what it is. Mastering time management. That's the biggest issue with just about how to master your time. Welcome from Dr. King. Because I have to do this introduction slide in every presentation you guys will see this week, I'm trying to change it up a little bit so I'm not just always saying the same things. I'm kind of adding some things in. So this week we categorize things. Personally, I am a 34-year resident of Texas, have lived in the 800 community for 18 years, exactly this month. I am a wife and mother and a graduate of Duncanville High School. Educationally, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's degree in organizational management, and an education doctorate in sports management. I consider myself a servant leader, so my servant leadership roles are and have been 25 plus years working in corporate America in various industries, 12 years working in higher education, teaching business management, leadership, human resources, social science, humanities, motivation, and professional development courses. 12 years coaching grassroots girls basketball for the Lady Panthers Girls Basketball Association. I have 12 years working as a parent volunteer for Duncanville ISD. I have served as both president and vice president of PTA for Bill Hart's Elementary, which is one of the elementary schools here in Duncanville ISD. Then I've served in various roles and on various boards for different sports leagues here in a couple of different cities. This week, what TI community pillars does this presentation focus on? It's going to always focus on education. I'm a resident educator, so the first pillar would always be education. And then second, community building, which tends to be my pillars every week. I have a couple coming up and be on some different pillars, but these two will always be the main pillars that I try to focus on. Who does this presentation benefit? This presentation benefits anyone to learn how to manage their time. With children, learning to master time should start about the 3rd to 5th grade, depending on the child and their ability to understand complex concepts. Which time is one, I apologize. By junior high and definitely high school, students should be learning to master their time every school year, and especially if they participate in any extracurricular activities. By the time the student is entering into college, learning how to manage their time is a necessary requirement to handle a rigorous collegiate academic schedule, and especially if the student is participating in extracurricular activities. As adults, mastering time management is the same as the other level of age, though one should have a grasp of the concept. My apologies, I was muted again. It kicked us off again, so we are back. I have Sierra and Sister Thompson. I'm gonna start back where I was, which is on this screen here. You didn't miss anything. It disconnected right as finished. Who this slide was for. So I think if anything, you missed the very bottom. As adults, master time management. Do me a favor, or microphones or cameras are on, which I don't see, turn them off. But like I said, we may have some issues today and issues with the internet in the whole entire metroplex today as kids go back to school, started back to school today. So as adults, mastering time management is the same as any other level of age. I'm at the very bottom, though one should have a grasp of the concept, use it to put it to efficient use for those 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Time is an artificial human. The concept of time is an artificial human construct. It is a system of measurement. Whoa. Hold on, you guys. I clicked the wrong thing. I'm trying to move. Y'all, you don't see boxes I have open over, and I'm trying to move them around so that I can see. There we go. The concept of time is a construct. It is a system of measurement invented by man to give meaning to what is before us. Centuries, decades, years, months, weeks, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds are really just terms that we created to assert control of the fluidity of time. Quick data I try to do every week to see how many people have, understanding or some information on my topic. So this week, the first question is, how well are you at managing your time daily? 14, we had 36 people answering. Of those, 14, which is the largest group, said that they really have a good time managing their time daily. The next largest group was 11, said somewhat good. 9 people said very good, and 2 people said not very good at all. And then the second question is, when did you first learn about managing your time? 14 said as a child, which I was very shocked about, because I thought most people didn't learn till college. So, hey, that was my hypothesis that was invalidated. But 9 did say they learned once they got into college. 8 said that they learned once they started their professional life, and then 5 said they learned in high school. My goal is to increase that number 14, that 39%, as more learning to manage their time as a child. Around about the 3rd to 4th grade, depending on the child and their ability to understand complex concepts. That's about the time I started teaching my daughter about time management. And then the last couple of years, we've gotten a little deeper with it as she prepares to get ready to go off to college, and manage the upper class levels of high school. Things get a little different than they are when you're in the 9th and 10th grade versus the 11th and 12th grade. So what is the definition of time management? There are 3 definitions I found, and I wanted to use all 3 because they kind of, even though they all pretty much say the same thing, it kind of different. Time management is the process of organizing and planning how to divide your time between specific activities. That's pretty much the basic definition. But a second definition, the ability to plan and control how someone spends the hours in a day to effectively accomplish their goals. It's a little bit better definition. And then the third definition comes from a business standpoint, which is the development of processes and tools that increase efficiency and productivity. So if you just want a general term, how you spend your hours in a day accomplishing the goals and organizing and planning how to divide that time between those activities. But if you're coming from a business standpoint, basically the development of processing, and it's better basically becoming more efficient, both in time and in productivity on the job. We all have the same time, 24 hours in a day, mostly 8 hours on the job, and how efficient we are at being productive while on the job, and time management comes in from a business standpoint. The history of time management. The Industrial Revolution prompted the need to live by the clock and not by the sun. Before then, people got up at the crack of dawn when the sun came up, and they worked until dusk, and that was how the day, the Industrial Revolution, that's the advent of warehouses and factories and all of that type of stuff. There needed to be something better than living by the clock and not by the sun. Not better than living by the sun. So that's kind of where the concept of having clocks, even though you can go back, Indians, geniuses when it comes to time. But as far as this country, the Industrial Revolution is pretty much where the time management came about. And in 1959, the first book that specifically printed, that was specifically printed about time management, was published by James McKay and was so aptly titled The Management of Time. And I have tried my best to find this book online. They have it at Amazon because I actually want to read it. But very hard to find online, and definitely very hard to find for free. And then personal time management. There are 5 effective time management tips that everybody can take with them today. Eliminate the unnecessary, which is anything that prevents one from reaching a goal, doesn't matter what that goal is. Plan your work. Set us 10 to 15 minutes before work, either write down or mentally plan what you want to accomplish. Multitasking. If you are good at it, do it. If you are not good at it, don't do it. There's an art to multitasking. And if you don't understand it, it's not necessarily hard to learn, but sometimes it's just not for some people. My favorite phrase, it just may not be your ministry. Know when to multitask and when not to if you are good at multitasking. Everything cannot be accomplished by multitasking. And honestly, we all know what multitasking means. It's multitask with the different roles. Yours are too with the different roles you play. But when you are doing different things, when it comes to just living and working, there are certain things that you do together that correlate together that makes things more efficient, make you more productive. But there are some things that you just can't. And where multitasking a wonderful thing, it can also be a burden if you're not good at it. So if you do not understand the concept of multitasking or not good at it, don't do it. But if you are good at multitasking, which I tend to sometimes, it just depends on what I'm doing. You have to know when and when not to multitask. There are some things that you have to give your full 100% undivided attention to. And you have to, you learn that for yourself. And then reduce the number of interruptions in your life. When you're trying to reach goals, there are just some things that you cannot do. And time management is one of the aspects of goal setting and accomplishing goals. There are things that, which here are considered interruptions that you have to learn to prioritize your time. And if whatever that interruption is, if it does not fit on the list of things and steps and things that you have to do to any goal, and any goal could be anything, getting dressed, brushing your teeth, driving to work. If an interruption interrupts that and it's not something that came out of the blue and you don't have a choice but to deal with it, there are things that you just have to learn to let go and say, hey, I'll get to it when I get to it. If I don't, then it just wasn't meant to be, because there are other things that are demanding my time. When it comes to students, how do they learn to manage their time? And this is really, if you guys have a quick presentation today, and a lot of it is because there's not a whole lot to mastering time. It's a simple concept. It's just that some people are just not taught these. So I'm not sure what's going on with the internet, and I don't want things to disconnect anymore. So I'm kind of not rushing, but going through the slides, but there's not a lot of slides this week. How do students learn to manage their time? First, you got to determine what your class schedule will be, including days and times. Like Duncanville now, they're on block scheduling, which is kind of what, kind of a little different from college. They have A days, B days, and one day, A day may be on a Monday, next week, B day may be on a Monday. With college, you have Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, Tuesday, Thursday classes, things like that. Sometimes you have Monday, Tuesday classes, Tuesday, Wednesday classes. Just depends. So you have to determine, first of all, what your class schedule is with their days and times. The second thing, determine what extracurricular activities you will be participating in. Third, determine what activities outside of school will be participated in, like church choir, club sports, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, any of that type of things. You mix those in. So you have school extracurricular activities, and then you have extracurricular activities outside of school. And all of those have to be, you have to have those and write them down. And then take a time management schedule. This is one of the first things about this, a little bit in depth in just the next slide, but take a time management schedule and take those 3 things: your class schedule, your days and times of school extracurricular activities, and your days and times of non-school activities, and fill in the schedule with the days and times of both the class schedule and the activities, extracurricular and away from school activities. And then what will happen is, once you fill those times in, you have, and you will also, and we'll get to that when we get to the time management schedule, but what will happen is, you'll start to see empty time slots where you have time to do things like study, do your homework, do any projects. So the time management schedule is really step 1 to learning how to master your time. And we'll get to that in depth in just a second. And then one thing that you have to do, and I actually knew this but didn't learn it until I started working on my doctorate, because my instructors were very adamant about us doing this. You have to schedule time. You have to schedule me time and time to unwind. Because if you don't, your brain's going to fry. You're going to get stressed out. You're going to get burned out. And that's just something you want. So when you're scheduling your life, you have to schedule me time. It helps you recharge. And then how does time management help you? I think the next slide is about the time management schedule, but it's in here. Just follow with me, bear with me. How does time management help you? The first thing it does is allows one to do the most with everybody has the same 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week, 365 days a year. Nobody has any more time or any less. So time management, you become more efficient with what you do in those time frames. Second, good time management enables you to work smarter, not harder, so that you can get more done in less time, even when time is tight and pressures are high. And that can apply to work more often than not, but a lot of times in life, there's just things that, especially if you have more than one child and it's just one of you, or, just whatever your circumstances are, having good time management skills helps you work smarter, helps you helps you organize things. The third thing, you're able to accomplish more in a shorter period of time. I can attest to that. Fourth, improves on the ability to make good decisions. When you are mastering your time, you don't have time to make crazy decisions. So as you learn to better master your time, your decision-making ability gets a little more enhanced. You master that as well. Everything has a domino effect to it when it comes to things like these. Fifth one, allows one to be more successful in their career. As you accomplish more each day, you make more sound decisions and feel more in control, and people start to notice, and they do. There's a difference between someone, when I was growing up, it was somebody that had it all together, and then you had people that didn't have it all together. So, and a lot of times having it together means you basically learn how to master your time to do everything that you need to do. And when you do that on the job, if you have really good leadership who's managing and leading you, because once again, managing and leading are two entirely different things, they'll notice the people that have good time management out there. They get everything done that they need to from the time they clock in to the time they leave. Number 6, more efficient work allows for more time opportunities. As we said, with professional development, the one thing that you have to learn how to do is professionally develop, and that's self-initiated. There are some things your job's going to want you to learn and go to conferences and seminars on, but you should always be seeking out opportunities to learn, and when you manage your time, you will be able to do that. The next thing, reduces stress due to one managing their daily schedules more efficiently, and this kind of goes back up to point 2, with the tight pressures and when time is tight and pressures are high. When everything seems to be falling apart, that's more often, if it's not a blindsided issue, it's more often is because you're not managing your time correctly and you're losing it. I kind of had the issue this morning. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I'm not necessarily stressing today, but I'm most efficient that I could be, and it's fine. It's just there are things that happen. And then good time management enhances self-discipline. It all comes back, everything comes back to self-discipline, self-preservation, self-motivation, self-confidence, self-pride. When you learn to manage your time, you are more to do everything that you need to do. And then the last thing that good time management allows for me time. Everyone must unwind, even if it's scheduled. And I try to I used to do girls' nights before COVID hit. Like once a weekend, I may go to the casino, or we may do a girls' night and go out to dinner. Those were done on purpose because everybody needs time to unwind. It's not that you don't love your family and everything and all the issues that you're doing and all the roles that you're playing in life, but sometimes you have to step back and let all of that go and just be you and find you and recharge your batteries. How does one start to master time? Here we go with this is where we start talking about the time management schedule and all of that. It is about prioritization. There are 2 things that work here. The first one is effectiveness. I'm looking at my time here. The first one is effectiveness, to prioritize, to focus on what is needed to deliver the results, and to say no to things that are not in line with life goals. You have to be effective in running your own life. So when you're talking about being effective with your time, you have to learn to prioritize and triage. You know, in the medical field, they call it triage, and you handle the most pertinent things first and go from there. And then the second thing is being more efficient. And efficiency is the ability to do things quickly and accurately in the same or smaller investment of time and resources. The more that you master your time, the more efficient you get. You'll find you have more time in your day, and you'll find you have more time in your week, more month, more time in your life. Uh-oh, I'm getting another internet connection pop up, so let's hope it doesn't disconnect, because I am practically almost just about finished, but not. So I don't want it to disconnect. Here we go about the time management schedule, and up in the top right-hand corner, one of the several time management schedules that exist free on the internet. I actually also have them though. The time management schedule, you use a time management schedule when you first start to manage your time. This is, I mean, they have time management classes. I actually had to take one in graduate school. But basically, the first steps are, what you do is you take this schedule and map out 7 days of activity. Then you map out a week. You can map out a week, but it's better if you map out a month, because what you want to see is where your time is in a month. And when we say that, that's barring, you know, any things that come up, you know, on the short end. There are things that you do every day of the week, like get up at the same time, go to work at the same time, you work the same hours, kids are in school, and you will learn, you will put all of that stuff in there. You would map out the times, from this time to this time, I'm asleep. You know, and that also helps you get better rest, because you get the same amount of sleep every time. You know, we laugh at people, you know, our elderly parents every day. I had a friend yesterday told me she takes a nap at 5 o'clock every day. That is perfect. I have a friend whose mom told me she goes to bed at 9 o'clock every day, regardless of what's going on. She makes sure she's at home and in bed by 9 o'clock. So you would put that on your schedule. You will put your waking time on your schedule. You will put that you eat breakfast, your driving time, the times that you're taking kids to school. The more detailed you are with this schedule, and starts to show you where you have available time to do things that you need to do. So that's what you do. So the first thing, which I always tell my students, the first thing you want to do, hey, Kathy, the first thing that you want to do is map out the required things that you do every day. And then once you do that, you map out like your job time, how long you're at work. You know, if you're a coach of any kind, or if you're a student and you have extracurricular activities, you put those in there. The things that you like at school, they have basketball practice basically the same days every week. So you would put that in there. Say it's basketball season and you have a game. Here in Duncanville, games are normally on Tuesdays and Fridays. So you would map, you know, you would tag that in there. Game Friday at 7 o'clock, game Tuesday at 7 o'clock. The more detailed you are in mapping out your schedule with these time management schedules, you will start to see where you have time to do the things that you need to do around, you know, the required times that it takes to do other things, you know, the basic things like being a parent. You know, there are just times that we feel that we don't have. Hard to use these time management schedules, you will start to see where you actually do have time to do everything that you need to do. And then the schedule will provide a visual reference to where required time is during your day, and what free time is, where free time is located during your day, week, and month, which is really just what I spent 5 minutes talking about. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. The difference is what we choose to do with our allotted 24 hours. And if you need a time management schedule, email me and I can get one. I go into deep detail with my students the first week of class all the time about managing their time. You know, you'll be amazed how many adults don't understand how to manage their time. You know, and then trying to work and, you know, be a parent and go to college and work on a degree is hard if you do not know how to manage your time. So if anybody needs a time management schedule and it comes with instructions on how to use it, that's one of the reasons why I like it. It kind of looks like the one that's up in the right-hand corner. But if you need one, email me and let me know and I'll get it to you. Like I said, it comes with the schedule and the instructions, and you can print it out and go from there. and I can send you, or you can make it, I don't necessarily have to send you many, take that one and make several copies of it. How about that? I was about to say, I can send you as many as you need. And then with professional development, how do we learn to manage our time professionally? There are several online time management resource sites. I saw them yesterday. You have Mind Tools, you have lynda.com, you have Udemy, basically the same professional development sites that I was talking about a couple of weeks ago. They also have a section on time management that can help you learn to manage your time. There are university sites that provide time management training as well. There are books in print on time management for dummies, you know, all of that. There's also time management apps and software. I'm getting another internet connection error, so hopefully it won't disconnect. Time management apps and software, you have them on your phone, and to be honest, that's what your calendars are, you know, but there are actually time management apps. If you go into the app store when you have and search for time management, you'll come up with all of these different apps and softwares that you can use. And then there are various seminars and conferences, which I'm not really sure why anybody would need to go to a conference on time management, but hey, that's just my opinion. But there are seminars and conferences on time management as well. Time management is actually a really big thing, but what I learned in doing my research is, even though it's a major topic, very little research is done on it. You know, as compared to other things that I've, you know, completed presentations on, is not a up with a whole bunch of them, but for the most part, they're pretty much all saying the same thing, which is fine. You know, it just depends on which way, whether you want a website or a book in print or something like that. Just do it. Professionally develop your time management skills. And summary, I told you guys it wasn't going to be long this week. Time is an artificial human construct created by man, excuse me. Time is the process of organizing and planning how to divide your time between specific productively. Mastering time management should start about the 3rd to 5th grades, depending on the ability of the child. Constructs, excuse me. The older one gets, the requirement to master time becomes a necessity. Mastering time management allows make better decisions, allow for time to seek opportunities, enhances self-discipline, allows for time to unwind and reduce stress. Learning to master one's time starts with using a time management schedule to determine how one uses their time daily, weekly, and monthly. And last, there are several professional development resources to learn to manage your time. And if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat box. Do I have a chat box? No time to do the research. Okay, Kat. I do plenty of research weekly. It's funny. And then this is the references. I always reference my information used, so you guys know I'm not stealing. Good educationally to do that. Does anybody have any questions? And Kathy, I was telling everybody, I don't know if you can see the link because it may have gone away because we've had some connection issues. But I put the link, and let me open the chat. Again, I had put the link for everyone to do the survey form. There it is. I hope everyone can see that. If you haven't already, click that link and open up the survey forms. That way, once I end the presentation, you still have the form to be able to fill it out. The community is 800 link. The what was the other question? The community event name is Mastering Management. And then there was one more. What categories? The categories are education and community building. Those are the 3 things you will need, because y'all were all asking me last week, what were those things? So the community I live in is 800 link. Oh, and then it's going to ask you for the unit number, and just put my apartment number, 707 phase 1. You know, you don't live here, but it won't let you submit them without putting the unit number on there. So the unit number is my apartment number, which is 707-1, which is 707 phase 1. And if you have questions, type them. I'm just going to go through the screens. Like I said, internet issues today. I'm trying to make sure we get through this without any more disconnections. Then next Thursday, now from this time going forward, my presentations will be on Thursdays. Next week, if I remember correctly, is my last noon Zoom. Everything for September will be on Thursdays at 7 p.m. I had said that for August, but I forgot some things that changed once they pushed the start time of school back. So next Thursday at noon again, we're going to be focusing on learning styles and how do you learn best, which is one of my favorite topics in the world. Are you sure we all have the same 24 hours? I'm pretty sure, Mom, that we have the same 24 hours a day. Exactly sure who has more than 24, but hey, it could be. But yes, we all have the same 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Depends on when you know what, I can't deal with you two today. Depends on when you wake up. That is true, Kathleen, but you still have the same 24 hours. And see, the time you wake up, that's that time. If you put it on the schedule, that's your required time. You may not necessarily use your 24 hours because for about 8 to 10 to 12 of them, you may be asleep, but you still have those same times, those same hours. So next week, I'm not playing with you two today. But next week, Thursday, August 27th, isn't it? What's my date? Yeah, August 27th at noon on Zoom. We are talking about learning styles and how do you learn best. I've had this conversation so being a virtual student not necessarily requires you to be, but it's to be, you can be have any learning style and be a virtual student, but there are some learning styles that learn best. And two are if you are a visual learner, if you're an auditory learner. And for parents that do not know what their child's learning styles are, it's going to be hard for them to, because you have to adapt these classrooms and these virtual assignments and things to the way your child learns best. And so that's going to be what we're going to work on next week. And that's one of my favorite topics ever, learning styles. So I hope to see you all next Thursday. And if anybody need my email to send them the time management schedule with the instructions, it's right here. It's 800-EDUCATOR-BRIDGET@TICommunities.com. And then all of you all have my personal email, so it doesn't matter which one you use. But here's my contact information. If you haven't friended my work Facebook page, it's facebook.com/Dr. Bridget M. King, EDD. And that is the end of today's presentation. I'm glad I actually made it through and we only had 2 issues with the internet today. Did I finish sharing? Yeah, it's done sharing. Let me go back and I'm still here if y'all have questions. I'm just, like I said, there are screens on my end that you guys cannot see. And I'm trying to come out of there. There we go. Screen sharing has stopped. There we go. So I see Coach Kathleen or Dr. Sharp and Sierra and my mother, Sister Thompson. We actually did good today. Even with the internet connections, I still have 20 minutes left. Does anybody have any more questions before I end this today? Like I said, if you need a time management schedule, let me know. I'll send it to you. I may just send it to you all anyway, because it's on my mind. But next week is learning styles. Just to reiterate, my presentations will start being on Thursdays from here forward. Next week is the last noon presentation. I couldn't get that out. And then starting in the first week in September, they will go to Thursday nights at 7 p.m. because there's, everybody will start going back to school, and parents, that have works that haven't gone back to work yet, so there's a lot going on as to why I moved it to nighttime. I want to make sure that most people get to see it and don't always have to watch it recorded as some have to do now. But it's fine. It's still there. And I told you guys that all of my presentations are on YouTube. I'll send y'all that link as well. So You know, even once these end, if you want to go back and watch any presentation that I've done, I have them all set up on YouTube because eventually they're going to go away. I didn't get the link to the time management survey you presented at the beginning. Do I have to? No, Mom, I forgot to send it to you. I'll send it next time. I always forget to send it to you. They're going to think you have extra people living with you. No, they don't, because I tell them every week, because I don't understand why they have that as a required thing, because that's what I tell them. If the people are submitting the form, unless they, well, they're using it for the residents, but they want anybody who watches the presentation to complete it, but it should not be a required thing to have to complete that. And yeah, that's what I told them. Y'all don't think that I got all these people living in my apartment. It's just because it won't let you submit it without putting a unit number in there. But no, Mom, I forgot to send you the link this week. And then I pretty much had hit, I can only do 40 people, and I was coming up on my max, but no biggie, I'll send it to you next week. I got to put you on my list to remind you, because I posted to Facebook and you won't use Facebook. So I have to remind myself to email it to you. That's what the problem is. I just posted to Facebook and keep moving. So I'll make sure that I put a sticky note to send you the survey links every week. That's my fault. I apologize. But I'll go ahead and end this for this week. Do y'all have any more questions? Sierra, you have any questions on time management? It's one of my favorite things. I am so tired. My neighbors were being a little loud last night, and I didn't sleep well. I've literally been up since off and on since about 2 o'clock this morning. So my eyes are red or I'm tired. So no, ma'am, I do not. Thank you, ma'am. So did you run out of time? No, I didn't run out of time. And you know what? That's the funny thing, because the last 2 weeks I have run out of time. I actually did good this week. I have 18 minutes and 43 seconds left that we're not going to use. Hey, Makia, you back? You missed the rest of the presentation, Makia, but that's no problem, because once again, I will post it to YouTube, and you can go back and rewatch it, because you're getting ready to go to college. You need this information as well. For Kathy, get the kids to watch it whether they want to or not, because everybody needs to learn how to manage their time. That is just one of the biggest things. Even with my adult college students, they don't understand if you don't manage your time. Time is made up. I'll be there, God. You are right. You are absolutely right. And that was you missed the slide on that. That's time is a human construct. You are absolutely right. God, you know what? There you go. God willing. But yeah, it's a human made construct to help us navigate our day. That's the very thing. And if we don't learn how to master it, we tend to lose out on things that we need to do, because we don't feel like we have the time for it. So without anything else, ladies, unless y'all just want to talk for the next 17 minutes and 40 seconds, I can go ahead and end this. But does anybody else have any questions? I don't want to, yep, it started with the Industrial Revolution. You are absolutely right, Coach Kat. Makia, do you have any questions? I got 17 minutes, work with me. Last week, we kept running out of time. Y'all throw these questions at me, I actually like them. Coach Kathy left? She'll call me. But we don't have any other questions. All right, then. Well, I'll go ahead and end this so I can get it. Makia, click the link in the chat box. Oh, don't leave. Coach Kat left. I forgot to take the picture. Nobody leave it. I got to take a picture of who all was in my presentation. I keep forgetting. I told y'all to remind me this week not to forget to do that. But click the survey form and do it for me, please, Makia. And if you need help, get it from Sierra. There's a couple of questions it's going to ask that you may not know. And Sierra has that information for you. Okay, I sent that so I don't forget. But I thank you, ladies. I will see you back next Thursday at noon on Learning Styles. Makia and Sierra, I need y'all here to learn about learning styles. And I shall say goodbye. Thank you again. Love you all. Talk with you next week.